Welcome back to the Years in the Making podcast with your hosts,
Lizzie
and Noah. Welcome to episode 11 of the Years in the Making podcast. It's been a while since we filmed, to be honest.
few weeks.
Few weeks, yes. We have went to, instead of every week uploading, we're doing every other week because, honestly, if we were to try to do every week, it would just be to the point where we wouldn't be able to upload every single week. We would literally, be like, oh, we didn't upload last week, we'll have to upload this week, and then we would just procrastinate and not do it. So I think it's best to do it every other week until further notice, until we have the time to be able to do it every week.
Life's crazy right now.
Life is crazy. A lot of things going on for not just us, but everybody. So today's episode 11. Now we are doing an episode on our Christian concerts. Now the specificities. What is the word?
Specifics?
Yeah, that. But is there a specificities?
Specificity.
No, I don't think that's a word.
Yeah,
the specifics of this episode is it's got to be a concert that me and Lizzie both have went to together, and that they are Christian. So because we've been to a Jonas Brothers concert together, and then Lizzie's been to a Corey Asbury concert and a Taylor Swift concert. But I wasn't at those, so we're not going to include those in this video. The icebreaker for today is actually built into the actual video, so there's no icebreaker at the beginning. Rather, we're honestly just going to jump right into it. So the plans are to kind of go over every concert that we've ever been to, and we've only been going to concerts for the past 2 years now, so it's not really a lot. But
yeah, we have been to how many concerts this year? 8?
7.
7.
And we'll be going to another one in November.
So we are making up for our time of not going to concerts.
And there hopefully will be 2 or 3 we're about to schedule for next year. So is there
you have a honey hair.
I have a honey hair on my chin.
Okay.
Wonderful. But we're just going to go into detail of how these concerts went, and then who we went with, if we did go with anybody, and then kind of what were our thoughts. And then the icebreaker will be our top 5 favorite out of all these concerts. So the first concert we ever went to together was Winter Jam 2023. And Winter Jam 2023, we went with Aaron and Lacey.
Was it Tina too?
Did Tina go to that one? I don't know.
I can't remember.
I know she went to the one this year.
Yeah.
Okay. So Tina, if you're watching this, please fact check us in the comments down below. But 2023 Winter Jam. Now, I had never been to a concert in my entire life. So I didn't really know what to expect. I never really wanted to go to a concert, to be honest. But I don't know. Since Lizzie was interested, since Aaron and Lacey were going, I thought it would be a good time. So the people that were performing were We the Kingdom, Jeremy Camp, Andy Mineo, Ann Wilson, Austin French, and Thrive Worship, and Sean B. So, do you have any words of wisdom about this tour, Lizzie, or about this Winter Jam?
I don't. I mean, this wasn't a super great one. I did grow further appreciation for We the Kingdom. I really liked the songs they sang and their performance. So I grew great appreciation for them. Other than that, it was not a top tier one for me.
Right.
But it was. We had a great time. It was fun. Like I said, grew great appreciation for the We the Kingdom.
Yeah. Winter Jam 2023. It was a. Honey, what are you doing? It was a great first concert to go to for me because not only are you seeing you're seeing multiple artists, but multiple artists that you actually know who they are. And there are artists like Jeremy Camp and We the Kingdom, and Ann Wilson. I know a lot of their songs, but I don't have a ton of them on my playlist, specifically like Jeremy Camp. But I did, like Lizzie said, I grew an appreciation for these artists. And I think the main thing that I got from this concert was me and Aaron's inside joke of Sean B. Now, Sean B was one of the pre-jam people, which is what plays before the whole Winter Jam starts. And Sean B dude was insane. He was like a rap. He like was a Christian rapper, but he also sang like good Christian, like Christian songs. I think he only performed like 2 or 3 songs, but like he was just like singing like a normal Christian song, and then he went into this insane rap thing that like I'd never really been exposed to Christian rap before, and it was insane. Do you remember that?
I Oh, when he was like saying like
It was like I never
yeah
heard that in person, and it was like unexpected, and it's been like an
yeah
inside joke
he
between like
talked super fast.
yeah, it's been an inside joke between me and Aaron ever since. So I think Winter Jam, the first one, definitely there was room for improvement. New Song is who hosts it every year. New Song is just not me and Lizzie's vibe, so to say.
But they're an older Christian band, so they are
Right.
some people's vibes, which is
Yeah.
totally fun.
But they're not our vibe. Just based. I mean, we appreciate New Song for putting on Winter Jam every year. But me and Lizzie don't listen to their music. So, all right, let me fact check. Okay, yep, fact check. Our next our not podcast. Praise the Loon. Our next concert was Kane. A Kane concert that we also went to with Aaron and Lacey. No, Tina wasn't there.
It was us and Lacey and Aaron and Charlotte. We drove down to a church in Charlotte
That's
for
right.
it. Actually, I don't know if it was a church. I think it was just like a performance area.
Yeah, I think it was a performance.
But yeah,
like a
we went to Charlotte for that.
Winter Jam was in Greensboro, right? The first one. Okay. So Winter Jam was in Greensboro. Kane was in Charlotte at, like Lizzie said, I think it was like a theater type thing. But Kane's openers were David Leonard and Katie Nicole. So, excuse me. So I really had a grasp toward David Leonard's music. Now, David Leonard, he's written a lot of Christian songs that you probably know, but he's always been kind of in the background writing it, and he just recently started to put out his own music, which has been really good. And then Katie Nicole, just a classic, newer Christian artist. But we obviously were there for Kane, and Kane. Lizzie will tell you, like Kane, they outperformed. Like that's the best concert. At that time, that was the best concert I'd been to. Kane was great.
Amazing. And we had, we were on the balcony, but even there, we had like a great view.
Yeah.
They sounded really good. I don't
They
know,
did.
like the acoustics of the theater. Yeah, it was really good, and I like to. During a point in time, all the artists, so Kane and Katie Nicole and David Leonard, all sat down, and it was kind of like an interview almost.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just them singing the whole entire time. They were also talking for us to know a little bit more about them.
Yep, I thoroughly enjoyed Kane, and I think it was right after they released their newest album, Jesus Music.
Or is it Jesus Music?
I'm not sure. It's either one of those.
I think it's no.
You think it's Jesus Music?
I think it's Jesus Music.
That's their most.
But both of them are songs on the album,
Yeah.
so I was like,
that's their most recent album.
Yeah.
But at that time, Kane, it was very like moving and soothing. It was like a lot of those at the Winter Jam. Winter Jam's really loud.
Like to the point where
you have to wear earplugs,
and you have to some of it's just so loud because everybody has different music taste.
Yeah,
and we would leave to go get food or drinks or snacks or something during the super loud performances because we were like, this is not our jam.
Yeah, but I think the Kane concert, it felt more genuine.
It was
and
great,
it felt
for
more
anyone.
family oriented.
Family oriented, yeah. They do have kids, so that makes sense. But
it was a show too. I remember Logan, he did a backflip.
He did do a backflip.
That was really cool.
And then did they bring their kids on stage?
I think they did. Yeah.
I think they brought their it was just a very good
homey
family oriented concert. And it wasn't sometimes at the Greensboro Coliseum, it's to the point where it's like, okay, I'm really crowded right now. There's a lot of people in here.
Yeah.
But for this concert, it was like, okay, there was a good amount of people. The place was probably maybe full. But it was to the point, it's like, okay, I could actually have room to move.
Yep. And with
So
Kane, we knew pretty much all their songs because they sang everything they sang they'd already released.
yeah, it wasn't like
So
unreleased music. Yeah.
Kane was a great experience, and we actually saw them again in another one we'll get to in a few minutes. Actually, that is the next one we're going to talk
now.
right now. Winter Jam 2024. So honestly, I think Winter Jam 2024 was a major upgrade from 2023.
100%.
So
they gave the crowd what they wanted.
They gave the crowder what they wanted, you know. Crowder was there, Lecrae, Kane, Katie Nicole, Seventh Day Slumber, new song, SCU Worship, and Joseph O'Brien, just to name most of the people that were there. So not only did we see Kane and Katie Nicole in concert that previous year, and we saw them once again. Winter Jam 2024 was wild. Tina was with us that time with Aaron and Lacey.
I remember it being really cold. Do you remember that? Like we were standing in line.
Oh my goodness, it was freezing cold.
Because it was in January or early February.
Yeah, either one.
It was so cold. Was it raining?
I think it was raining. Like light rain. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was cold. We were committed to get in.
We were.
But yeah, this was really good. Some of our favorites were there. I know you really like Lecrae and Crowder.
Yep.
I really like SCU Worship and Kane, even though they only played like one of SCU Worship's songs, which I was sad
and they
about,
played it during the when they handed out like the what is it called?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. When they hand out like the pamphlets for like the kids
to supporting a child.
Yeah.
It wasn't like their own, like they were just singing a song. It was wild.
They did SCU Worship dirty, 100%.
Yeah.
And SCU Worship will one day probably be the headliner for Winter Jam.
Wait, did you say Joseph O'Brien?
What?
He was here.
Yeah, I said Joseph O'Brien.
And we have it's funny. So when you hear someone in person, I think you can say this, like you grow an appreciation and a love for them.
I was about to say the exact
same thing.
And now,
like Joseph O'Brien is like, he literally sang one song. And now he's like one of our favorite artists, which is hilarious.
Joseph O'Brien was the special guest on here. He barely got his picture on there, but he sang his big song "Saved," and me and Lucy were like, we really like this guy, so we looked him up after and pretty much like binged the rest of his songs, and now he's top 10 for both of us, I think.
Yeah.
Joseph O'Brien. It's cool that Winter Jam is the way it is, because we wouldn't have grown a love for him or probably ever knew who he actually was if it wasn't for that concert.
And he's related to one of the singers of New Song.
Yeah, that's why I was there.
Yeah.
But Joseph O'Brien he sang one song, but that one song was so good that it was just like, dude, I gotta figure out more about this guy, and I really want him to come out with an album soon because he hasn't come out with an album yet. But Crowder, Lecrae, I'd never heard either of them in concert. Lecrae's probably my favorite Christian rapper. And I want to see Lecrae all over again in his own concert. But that's probably going to be a year or two in the future, until he comes back close to North Carolina again. But same with Jeremy Camp in 2023. Crowder was someone that I listened to often, but I didn't listen to as much. But I really, back in the days when I listened, like K-Love 2020, 2021 was like when I listened to Crowder and Jeremy Camp, people like that. But I really gained an appreciation for Crowder's music, specifically because I knew all of his songs, just because, they've been popular throughout K-Love and throughout my childhood and stuff. But it was really cool to see Crowder there, and Lecrae. Lecrae is absolutely goated. I got his merch. We also got Kane's merch. I don't think we got anybody's merch from 2023 Winter Jam. But anyways, definitely looking forward to going to Winter Jam again next year. I can't wait to see who they have coming in 2025. So that'll be absolutely awesome. So next is Josiah Queen, which was in Mooresville, North Carolina. Now, Mooresville was actually a very nice area. Wouldn't you say so?
Yep, it was at a really nice church as well.
Yep.
Really pretty church, really nice people. We ate before we came, but they were like, it felt like really homey. Like they were outside, like grilling,
Yeah.
and you could get food
Yep.
while you were waiting to get in the doors.
So the funny thing about the trip there was I actually got my I got my I got my offer letter from that job I worked at
For a day.
for a day. I got my offer letter from there, and I was like so excited, but I was also like confused because I'd never got an offer letter. So my emotions were all over the place.
No one's on cloud nine.
I was, but I was also kind of confused and worried and trying to get my questions answered. So you can, like, when we ate at Dario that night or whatever.
He was in the parking lot of Dario's calling this hiring person, asking him
questions.
Yeah. So.
And then I was probably shaking the entire time in Dario because I was just like, should I take it? Should I not take it? Is this, the will of God? Is it not? But it ended up all working out. Thankfully.
Anyways, back to the concert.
Josiah Queen. Now, I think Josiah Queen, for us, had the potential to be a lot better. The only problem with Josiah Queen was we didn't know any of his songs because majority of the songs he sang were unreleased.
Yep.
Now we know those songs like the back of our hand.
Now they're really good.
Right.
It's just we didn't know them, so it was like, okay, am I supposed to say watermelon? Am I supposed to hum along? Like,
right.
What's going on?
There was probably at the time 4 to 6 songs that he had actually released, and besides that, he hadn't released any other music. And all of these songs he sang, or majority of them that we didn't know, were on this upcoming album, which just came out, recently this year.
Also, we were standing.
Yes, we were standing. So
for how many hours? 2 to 3.
2.5.
I mean, it wasn't as bad as it sounds, but
there were no seats. Like this, it was like a gymnasium, not a gymnasium, but
no, it was just like a worship.
But they took out the chairs.
It's like a worship center, and then they took out the chairs, I guess, to make more room for people. But I mean, this was his first concert. I mean, this was his first tour, so he was, of course, trying to figure everything out.
Yep.
But for it being his first tour, I think he did a great job.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, Jimmy opened for him.
Yeah, I did not say that yet.
Oh,
but I was about to say it. Jimmy Clifton was the opener, and I told Lizzie.
You listened to him before, though.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I think Lacey had, but I mentioned to Lizzie oh, this guy named Jimmy Clifton is opening, and I was like, she was like, who? And I was like, yeah, exactly. I don't know, but Jimmy Clifton is like a kind of a country folk artist.
I would say folk is the
Christian artist,
yeah.
though.
Christian for sure.
But every song he sings has "whoa" in it, which is kind of funny. And every single song he sings sounds the exact same. But Jimmy Clifton, I've grown an appreciation for him because I didn't know who he was until that show, and then that show kind of showed me a lot more about him. But I think we would have liked Josiah Queen more if it was kind of like now and we knew most of the songs.
And I will say, with these concerts, I feel like, I don't want to say all of them, maybe 80 to 90% of them, the gospel was preached at them.
Mm-hmm.
Or I know for sure, Winter Jam, they have a speaker.
Yeah.
I can't remember Kane. Josiah Queen they did. Brandon Lake they did. Forrest Frank they did.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the
which is
point.
Awesome. I know,
Pat
but for a lot of the, for just a lot of concerts,
yeah.
Okay, people are
not
coming,
forget our roots,
yeah, it's people could have the mindset, oh, they're coming to watch me or listen to me, but it's okay, let's not forget who enabled you to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's really humbling when somebody comes, and Forrest Frank specifically did this. He was like, before I perform, none of this is for my glory, but all to the glory of God.
And I remember Brandon Lake did that as well. And Brandon Lake's concert, we'll get to that in a minute. His was completely sold out. Everyone was there to come see him. He was one of my concerts has never gotten sold out, and he could have easily been
boastful and arrogant about that.
They all came to see me and my great songs and my beautiful voice, but instead he was not like that. So, anyway, sorry to branch off, but.
Yeah, and Josiah Queen's concert, we didn't mention it was free. Because it was like a soft opening thing.
Because he's never been on tour.
Right.
So he was like, okay, let me get my name out there.
Yep.
But
Winter Jam was $15, both of them were, and then Kane was, I'm not sure, probably around 30, 40 a piece. But Josiah Queen was free. Another one that was also free for us was Mercy Me. Now this was free for us because Lizzie's mom got us a lot of tickets, which we really appreciate.
She wouldn't really. She listened to K-Love, so they're like pretty big on K-Love.
Yep. And the fun fact about Josiah Queen, Mercy Me, and Brandon Lake was, I believe, we went to these 3 concerts within a matter of a week.
It was insane.
It was crazy.
We were tired.
We were tired, and our vocal cords were rotten. We were gone. Oh, yeah. But Mercy Me was the next one. The openers were David Leonard again, which we had heard before, and Newsboys. Now, at the time, I like Newsboys more than I like Mercy Me. Now I think I'm grasping towards Mercy Me a little bit more.
Question mark?
What do you mean?
Kidding.
What are you talking about?
Just kidding.
But Mercy Me was in Greensboro as well at the Greensboro Coliseum. Was that right?
Yes.
Okay. Fact check me on it. Yes. But the openers were Newsboys and David Leonard. Once we got there, I think we got there a little late.
That David Leonard opened it.
Yeah, David Leonard was there. We got there a little bit late, and David Leonard was the opener. We only heard like 2 or 3 songs of his. Then they went to Newsboys, and then they went to Mercy Me. Now, we went to it because it was free, and Mercy Me, like, we respect their music, but it was also along the same lines of Crowder and Jeremy Camp, where we don't listen to their music as much. But like Lizzie said previously, like, I really gained an appreciation for Mercy Me, and now some of their songs, like some of their newer songs, I really like. They're some of my favorites, to be honest, amongst all Christian music. But do you have anything to say about Mercy Me?
I don't think so.
We went with Lizzie's family, and then Charity and Joe went with us too. So it was a dandy time. Me and Joe had never been to a concert together, so me and Joe were going crazy. It was in there.
Crazy.
But Joe, you gotta come to some future concerts with us, buddy. All right. Anything else to say about Mercy Me? Like I said, they're all kind of older artists, so it didn't grasp more towards us, but we appreciated it since it was free to us, and we actually had a really good time. But it was very loud.
The best one
is now.
Brandon
Lake was in Greensboro Coliseum as well, right? His opener was Doe, I believe, and he had a special guest, which was Tasha Cobbs Leonard.
Which we did not know.
Nobody knew about.
She came out and we were like, what?
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
Because Tasha Cobbs Leonard's been putting out some music for a great while, and she's been cooking for sure. But Brandon Lake was by far my favorite concert I've ever been to.
So good.
We knew all of his songs. I love Brandon Lake because he has like worship songs, he has like contemporary Christian, and then he has like different songs that don't even really match the same vibe. Like, he can come out with country music, like he can do any sort of vibe, and it's perfect.
Yeah,
because he just got that kind of voice, like where he can do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But Brandon Lake,
it was so good.
Like, that's probably the greatest concert. I mean, me and Lizzie freaking bawled probably twice.
I didn't know if you were gonna say it because I was like, if no one's embarrassed to say,
no, it's fine.
I looked over and me and Noah are literally bawling
at the exact same song, and we didn't even look at each other.
No,
it might have been Adoption Song, or
it was Adoption Song,
or
it was Adoption Song by him for sure.
Rest on Us, maybe. It was Adoption. We did it twice though, I think. Yeah. But Adoption I just like, I was bawling, bro.
Adoption Song was the one that we were like hardcore crying at.
And Lizzie just like peeped over me, and she saw me crying. She was like, and I didn't even look at her because like I knew she knew I was crying. I knew that she knew that I knew that she was crying. So
it just hit home, like the lyric. Did. Yeah, it just hit home.
Now DOE, like, I mean, we don't really listen to her music, so.
But it was good.
It was fine.
It was good for what it was. Yeah.
But definitely looking forward to listening to her more in the future. But Brandon Lake just carried like he did. Tasha Cobbs Leonard coming out. I mean,
and them collabing. It was so
Noah
good.
Hooper will tell you too. That's his favorite concert he's been to. Because he was there too.
And I liked what Brandon Lake did. So he was on the stage, and then toward the end, him and 2 of the
oh yeah.
what was it? What would you say? Those two people, I
On his
guess, like
team,
that. Yeah,
one of
that.
his band members or
Yeah,
whatever.
they were on his team. They went to another part of the Coliseum. It was
Yep.
like a very small stage, probably the size of this rug right here.
Yeah.
And they sat down in these chairs, and it was like decorated. It was hilarious. There was like a rug there, and they just like jammed out. Like,
yeah, they were. It was just more genuine,
It
and
was
like they were
genuine.
just using a guitar.
They-
Not
yeah.
a lot of like vocals in the background. Not a lot of like band. It was just like two or
just
three
the
guitars
guitar,
and
yeah.
two other members that were singing as
And
well.
I think he's saying, was he singing song requests that people wanted to hear?
Yeah, he was doing song
Yeah.
requests too, which
was-
made it pretty cool.
Which we've only been to one other concert that did song requests.
Yep.
So, anyways, honestly,
Brendan Lake #1.
we could ramble on forever for that
Yeah.
one.
I don't know if Brendan Lake will be #1 forever. I mean, he is our favorite artist, but
it's going to be hard.
It's going to be hard to beat.
Really hard to beat.
That was great. Next is Micah Tyler, which was also free.
It was free.
Yeah, it was free.
For us. I can't remember if it was free for Mom or she
I don't
just got
remember.
it for us.
But shout out to Sarah. She's always hooking us up with the CCM deals.
With the deals, yeah.
But Micah Tyler, we talked about this on a previous podcast, so we won't talk about it too much. But Micah Tyler did this like hour, like I think it was hosted by K-Love, and he just did some Q&A and answered some questions and
he also
sang a few songs. Now I don't really listen to Micah Tyler, like if at all. Maybe a few songs of his, but I know all of his songs, and they were all really good.
But I grew an appreciation for him as well because he has a really, really good voice.
Yeah, and it's like his voice. It's not auto-tune, like it was like really good.
And also, an artist had like good personalities too.
Yeah,
that was just like a plus.
Yeah, he just seemed like a goofball. But anyways, next, Forrest Frank. I mean,
it was awesome.
It was great. Me, Lizzie, Tina, Lacey, and Aaron. All I gotta say is R.I.P. to Joe, because we'll get into that another day. But Joe missed the concert. But anyways, Forrest Frank, and who better as the opener than Josiah Queen? Like, that is the duo of the century. Y'all need to collab on a song. It will pop off. I need you like it.
It was really good. My only critique would be I didn't love where it was.
Oh my goodness. I think
I was extremely claustrophobic.
Yeah.
And my feet were on fire.
We may have gotten like sick from that place too. Like, because we were so
it was questionable.
We were so claustrophobic.
People were on top of us.
It was sold out. Everyone
literally sold out.
And this was his first ever concert for the Child of God tour. I know he's done concerts in the past, but this was his first tour, and we were the first visit in Charlotte, North Carolina, at the Fillmore.
To the point where, it was so funny. Like, Noah said this was his first concert. So he was like, he couldn't remember the set list. So he was
on a piece of paper.
He was looking at this piece of paper because like he's never done this before, so he couldn't remember like all the order because he's literally never performed this before.
Yeah. The stage was beautiful. Like, he designed, like, the design of the stage was really cool.
It was so good.
They had like a fridge on there with the Child of God. Somebody he was like, "Is anybody having a bad day?" And then somebody raised their hand. I wish I would have raised my hand.
And then they got to go on stage.
You get to go on stage and get like free merch and a vinyl, like a signed vinyl or something.
You should have raised your hand.
Yeah, I wasn't having a bad day,
so we didn't want to lie.
So we were in line for merch when Josiah Queen was performing. So we got to hear Josiah Queen, but we weren't standing there. We were literally in the merch line for Forrest Frank merch.
Yeah,
which I think was worth it because we still heard Josiah Queen, and we also wanted that merch.
But we were also in line for like 45 minutes.
We were in line for 45 minutes.
The merch is fire. I mean, we were going to buy it online, but shipping was like $15, and we were like, no thanks. We'll just wait in line for 45 minutes.
Yeah. So this was the Child of God tour that Forrest Frank was on, and he sang some songs from when he was just Forrest. He sang some songs when he was in that group. Forgot what it's called.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
It just slipped my mind. But he was in that old group, and he was Forrest, but before he came Forrest Frank. And one of Lacey's critiques was that he didn't perform any of his
Yes, the
his
hymnals.
the hymnal album, which
Yes.
I also missed.
That was that's what grew our love for
Yeah.
him. And I was like,
Yeah, that's
you're
what
joking.
originally started our love
Was
for
he
him.
didn't sing one from
No, he didn't
from
sing a
that,
single song from it.
which is a little
But
bit
he sang
disappointing.
Altar, which was really good. Him and Holvey sing that.
And of
But
course, like the main songs like
all the
Up
Up and Good Day and Never Get Used to This. Almost everything on the Child of God album he sang. But like Lizzie said, our only critiques is just the building, and we were, had major claustrophobia, as well as he didn't sing some of, the songs that we got onto him on, which was songs from his hymn album. So, any other word about Forrest Frank? Great duo, Josiah Queen and Forrest Frank. I'm so glad we were able to go to his first concert and get his first ever merch from his first ever concert. So, lastly, was our most recent, which was this month, I believe.
Last week. No.
Week before last.
It was.
I think it was
2 weeks ago from this upcoming Thursday.
Okay. So, Pat Barrett. Now, you may or may not know who Pat Barrett is. He's a pretty popular Christian singer. His most popular song is "Build My Life."
Do you want to sing that for us?
Absolutely not. So I think he came out with this album "Shelter" last year, and me and Lizzie loved this album. Like "Shelter," we loved it because it was like kind of our vibe, and like we'd heard Pat Barrett songs before, but like I put Lizzie on the album because I heard it.
You did.
I did. Just go ahead and admit it. You did. I put you on it. But anyways, Pat Barrett we had a great time. This was close to our hometown, which is in Burlington, North Carolina.
Yeah, it was so nice. I mean, with some concerts we go to, like Charlotte, it's like, okay, so the concert ended at 10 o'clock, and now we have over
a 2-hour drive home.
Yes.
2.5, whatever.
Yes. And this was like,
this was like, close to our house.
20-minute drive. Like,
right.
This is I feel so privileged right now.
So, Pat Barrett's opener was Patrick Mayberry, which is also a CCM artist, and he is decently popular, not as popular as Pat Barrett, but I think Patrick Mayberry was the perfect opener for Pat Barrett just because they have very similar music taste. And their voices are very similar. They're exactly the same age as well, as we looked up on Google. Now, Pat Barrett is up there for me because for the first time ever, we got to meet a Christian artist. It's never happened before.
As you guys know, this is what the episode's about. We have been to a decent amount of Christian concerts.
We have.
This is the only one who has ever stayed back
walked down the podium and stood there like he was just a normal part of the crowd. He stood there and shook people's hands, talked to people, and got pictures with people. And nobody's ever done that.
I mean, he's up there for me because of that.
I grew a lot of appreciation for that.
There was a coffee shop in the church. So.
And me and Pat Barrett had 2 dap-ups.
I carried the conversation.
Lizzie, I was starstruck. Lizzie carried the conversation.
Noah was like, no, we went up to him, and like Noah was not talking. I'm like,
all I could do was dap my man up because I've met one other famous person in my entire life, and I've never met a famous person that I've watched their whole concert and been listening to their music for years.
So I had to carry the conversation. Also, before I forget, I would like to mention about Pat Barrett. He helped write a lot of Elevation worship songs, right?
Yeah.
And we love Elevation. Like, that's our top 10 for you, right?
Sure.
And I was like, you don't really know. I mean, there are just so many people behind the scenes of writing these songs that you don't know about. And, like, for all you know, people are writing, like, the people singing the song necessarily aren't the ones who wrote it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, that also grew an appreciation. He helped write some of Elevation Worship's best songs.
Yep.
So
Pat Barrett had the Shelter album last year. He had the Happily Hidden album this year, which only had a few songs on it. But he performed several songs from both albums. Excuse me. And then he also performed his classic songs that he's had out for years.
Also, to mention, he also took song requests.
I forgot to say that. And me, Lizzie, and these random group of middle-aged women behind us yelled a song at the same time. He forgot it.
They were like, "What song are you yelling?" And I was like, nobody. And I counted to three. They were like, I was like, 1, 2, 3, and we all yelled.
Nobody.
He was like, what are y'all screaming? But he didn't play it.
He
but
made a joke that
Yeah.
he was. I knew I was in the South because I hear people yelling or something like that. It was hilarious.
Yeah, and then I confronted him after the concert about. I'm like, I cannot believe you didn't play Nobody. But anyways, it was fun.
And
but it was
that's
fun.
why I said Lizzie carried the conversation, because Lizzie asked a question. I just sat there and dapped him up as many times as I could, trying to get the perfect dap.
No one was like, yeah, no one.
I was starstruck. I need to work on my famous person game. I also talked to Patrick Mayberry. We wanted to get a picture with him, but Lizzie refused for whatever reason.
He lost his earpiece and he seemed stressed.
And I had like a 13-second conversation with Patrick Mayberry about his earpiece.
That was a 7 out of 10 conversation.
That was a 4 out of 10 conversation. I should have asked him for a picture, but Lizzie didn't want a picture because we were standing in Pat Barrett's line and didn't want to get out of the line and whatnot. So, anyways, that's all the concerts we've been to so far. Now, I have a few concerts. Phil Wickham and Holvey are two people that are going on tour, which those are concerts I would like to go to. Are there any concerts or people that you want to see that haven't announced it or
haven't announced it?
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to Maverick City.
Oh yeah, we're going to that in November. I forgot about that.
We're going to that in November.
But I'm saying, is there anybody that you would want to go on concert that you would want to go see that we haven't seen yet?
Elevation. Worship.
Yep. Okay. Anything else?
Maybe Joseph O'Brien eventually
his own thing.
When he built his kind of audience.
Yep.
And Mitch Wong when he comes out with a new
album,
which is
who knows when that'll be. He doesn't make his own music anymore.
Anyways, those are mine.
Yep. I would love to see Corey Asbury with Lizzie, and then I would also love to see Benjamin William Hastings.
I forgot that.
That's Benjamin William Hastings. That's a golden possibility that he could probably go on tour next year. Hopefully, he would come close to our area.
Yeah, because he's coming out with the album. When?
Yeah, he is. This Friday.
And usually when people come out with albums, it's like, oh, let's go on tour. So maybe that'll be his golden opportunity. But anyways,
we are looking forward to Holvey and Phil Wickham. Hopefully, we get to go to their concerts. But our icebreaker is, it's kind of towards the end, so it's no longer an icebreaker. But our little question topic thing of the day is our top 5 favorite concerts. Now, if you listen pretty closely, you could probably tell what our top 5 was. And
I think yours is the same as mine, right?
Oh, Lizzie made this list, and I was like, yeah, I agree with this. So
you want to just speak for both of us?
Yes, I will speak for both of us. Number 5 is Kane. Number 4 is Josiah Queen. Number 3 is Pat Barrett. Number 2 is Forrest Frank. And number 1 is Brandon Lake. Now, this isn't the exact order we would put them as our favorites, but rather this is our favorite concerts, and, it's in order from our favorite concerts, not from our favorite artists. But anyways, we hope you enjoyed our concerts episode, Christian concerts episode. I'm not exactly sure what I'll title it yet, but hopefully we can have some more guests on the podcast. We've had a lot of good feedback from people about having guests on there, and we have a list of people we want to get on there. If you do want to be on the podcast, make sure to reach out to us at Years in the Making Podcast on our Instagram. Without any further ado, do you have anything else to say, Lizzie?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, we hope you guys have a great day, and this is this is episode 11. But our anniversary is actually the Sunday.
It's Monday.
It's Monday. So, wish us a happy 1-year anniversary. Wednesday is when this is coming out, but Monday will be our 1-year anniversary. So
October 7th.
Yes. Isn't that crazy? 1 year.
It's insane.
And I love you, and I will love you for the rest of my life.
Oh,
this has been Years in the Making. Isn't that right?
That's right.
Anyways, thank you for watching episode 11 of the Years in the Making podcast. We promise we'll have more guests on the podcast soon. Wish us a happy 1-year anniversary. Without any further ado, thank you guys. Have a great day.